Hello everyone! Most of us, when we were children, would hide under blankets during a violent storm. And there's a good reason to be afraid of nature. It can be really dangerous. According to the statistics of the National Weather Service, every year in the United States, several dozen people are killed by lightning. However, most encounters with this natural phenomenon don't end in tragedy. Many people manage to get out alive. Today, we're going to talk about the most interesting of these cases. One day, Alex Correas from Texas went for a walk with his dogs when the weather started changing. However, he didn't give it much thought and kept on walking with his pets. That's when he was struck by lightning. The surveillance video shows Alex falling and his dogs rushing away in terror. Fortunately, at that time, he was passing by a veterinary clinic. A helpful worker of the clinic named Christy Mittler immediately recognized what happened and rushed to help Alex. When the rescue team finally arrived on the scene, they saw that Alex was not moving or breathing. Also, his clothes were burned. Fortunately, Christy and her colleagues brought an emergency kit from the hospital and were able to save Alex's life. The young man had to spend several days in the hospital, but he did not suffer any serious injuries. You probably think you can only be hit by lightning if you are walking in the woods or swimming in a lake in the midst of a storm, but it can actually happen in the most unexpected places. William Hall, for example, pulled over at a gas station in New York to fill up his car, but instead of getting on with his life, he almost lost it. William was struck by lightning at the gas station and fell to the ground, slamming his face into his van. People in the convenience store thought it was an explosion because of the loud bang and the blinding flash. Surprisingly, it wasn't even raining at the time. William remained unconscious for 5 minutes, but eventually he regained consciousness and even remembered what had happened. The doctors who arrived on the scene were so impressed by his luck
I feel very lucky
that one of the paramedics even asked the guy to rub his lottery ticket. Luckily, no one was injured during this accident at a gas station in Fort Worth, Texas, but the consequences were comparable to the fall of a huge asteroid. The event occurred at 4 a.m. when, fortunately, there were no people at the station. Look how peaceful this place seems when suddenly, boom, a bolt hits the floor, scattering pieces of concrete around. Imagine the shock of the gas station employees when a few hours later, they saw this, a huge hole measuring 4.5 meters wide and almost 1 meter deep. If you usually travel by plane, it is very possible that you have traveled at least once aboard an aircraft that has been struck by lightning.
As we descend into Paris.
It's not really surprising. It happens very often. On average, every commercial airplane is struck once a year. But don't worry, airplanes are designed to avoid disasters caused by electric shocks. Austin Dunn from Florida works with planes on the ground, but he still managed to face this phenomenon. A couple of years ago, he was struck by lightning just as he was passing under the nose of a plane parked near the runway. More precisely, the lightning struck the tail of the plane, then passed through the entire fuselage, came out through the front, and hit Austin. That was probably the only thing that saved him from a tragedy. It is said that the probability of being struck by lightning at least once in a lifetime is 5,000 to 1. And the chance of the event being recorded by a camera is even lower. Well, this American journalist was reporting live and barely escaped a fatal outcome. The strong electric discharge hit the floor just behind his back, probably forcing viewers to jump on their sofas. It's amazing how the cameraman didn't even tremble at that moment. This girl can teach you how to make high-quality content for Instagram. She just wanted to make a video proving that the rain hadn't stopped for hours and ended up accidentally shooting a viral clip.
I don't know what you guys have going on, but this is my house. Oh my God!
The raging lightning was so beautiful that the video looked edited. By the way, we're amazed how this woman kept her cool. Most people would probably use much stronger expressions. Who knows what goes on in the minds of people who do not hide in their homes at the beginning of a thunderstorm, and instead run outside to admire this majestic natural phenomenon. The star of this video is one of those daredevils, and we can only admire his calmness and fearlessness. Here he is standing on the terrace of his house in Norway, filming a powerful storm. Daniel manages to record a strike, but apparently that wasn't enough for him. He keeps recording and then something incredible happens. Lightning strikes at the other end of his terrace, literally 5 meters from him. The funny thing is that the enthusiastic cameraman stays on the porch instead of hiding in the house. Perhaps Norwegians know the secret of eternal imperturbability. These are not images from a new apocalyptic movie, although it might look like it. This clip was shot in Florida, where a police officer miraculously escaped lightning while trying to get out of his car. By the way, Florida is believed to be the place where most people in the US are struck by lightning. The reason is the state's peculiar geographical location, which has ideal conditions for the formation of massive storm clouds. It's always great when sporting competitions involve exciting situations. However, in this case, excitement went too far. A powerful lightning strike hits a tree on a golf course during the US Women's Open in Charleston. Fortunately, players and spectators had already been evacuated from the field due to the weather. Surprisingly, the tree did not catch fire, as is often the case in this kind of situation, but the huge cracks left by the lightning show how dangerous it was. The protagonist of the following story, a boy named Josiah, escaped death thanks to a passerby and his best friend. But in this case, the best friend wasn't human. On the day of the accident, this 13-year-old boy was on his way home with his friend Javier. The kids had to leave the skate park after a heavy rainstorm started in the town of El Mirage. The clouds thickened quickly, and lightning started flashing here and there. But who knew that the kids would be hit? Javier managed to stay conscious, but Josiah was thrown into the air by the blow, immediately lost consciousness and hit his head. Fortunately, a passerby immediately started giving him a heart massage. Apparently, this saved the boy from death. But the boy was also helped by his favorite skateboard. The fact is, it served as a kind of lightning rod, which conducted the electrical charge from the body directly to the ground. We don't want to imagine what would have happened if it weren't for the help of this good Samaritan and the boy's skateboard. Because the average charge of lightning contains 1 billion joules of energy. That's enough to keep a 60-watt light bulb lit for 6 months. Have you ever been at the beach enjoying the beautiful weather when suddenly the sky fills with dark clouds and you start feeling raindrops on your skin? That's pretty much what happened in Long Beach, California. The video shows a few surfers swimming in the ocean even though the storm had just started. The first lightning didn't take long to arrive and hit the sand at the water's edge, near the people on the beach. Several of them lost consciousness for a couple of seconds, but fortunately no one was seriously injured. Experts say that during a storm, it's safer to be inside a car. However, it's not that simple. If the lightning bolt hits the antenna, the electrical charge will go directly to the tires and to the ground. However, the risk of the tires exploding in this situation is very high. On the other hand, if the discharge hits the roof, it can burn a stain. Finally, if the lightning strikes the fuel tank, it will catch fire, although these cases are extremely rare. In this video, a pickup truck is struck by lightning on the go. The result is 2 huge craters in the asphalt. The married couple who were inside the car at the time says that after the hit, they started to suffocate from the smell of burning and probably from the stress. Imagine how scared they were. The driver tried to open the doors and windows, but they were locked. Fortunately, a policeman was passing by and helped the elderly get out from the vehicle. Remember, during a storm, you should never hide under a tree. If you don't know why, watch this video. It was shot in the backyard of a school in Tyler, Texas. Fortunately, no one was there at the time. In this video, shot by a 10-year-old resident from Davidson, US, it doesn't look like there's a real lightning. It actually seems like a powerful explosion. It's amazing that just a few minutes earlier, the boy was playing in the yard in the rain when his father forced him into the house. Then the kid started filming what was going on outside, and the result is incredible. There's something terrifying and at the same time soothing about this video shot in Miami. A cloudy sky, rapid boats, bright lightning. It's pretty nice to see it when you're at home, but we don't want to imagine the screams of the boat captains as they rushed back to shore.